Okay, welcome to our sizzling 15th segment of What About Your Story Saturdays, brought to you by Lion at Heart Freedom Journey Movement. And for those who follow us, we are live on Facebook every second and fourth Saturdays of the month at exactly this 6 p.m. Central Time. Now, this twice a month live show began when my book Lion at Heart was published in June 30th of 2020. And due to its massive success, it grew and created the Lioness Circle, who believes in my mission: be the voice for the voiceless. Lion at Heart Freedom Journey Movement is focused on leadership, personal and spiritual growth, as we believe that these three important aspects are vital in our lives. We simply believe that success and freedom cannot be achieved without all those three aspects. So this world is wounded as you know it, and we are all patching holes in our lives. But if we can educate people and help them discover courage and greatness within, well, isn't it showcasing the best of our humanity? Right? So if anyone wishes to know more about this inspirational book, Line at Heart, and want to get a copy for yourself, please go visit kaihayes.com or join us in our virtual book signing on September 26th, Saturday. I shall have limited copies of the books that you can order via kaihayes.com and receive your book with my personal dedication and signature, also as support for this movement. Thank you. So moving on to our show, allow me to introduce to you three remarkable, beautiful members of my Lioness Circle: Kay Castro from Oroville, California; Paulette Snipke from Ottawa, Ohio; and Gigi Donahoe from Lakeland, Florida. I'm so proud of you. Okay, ladies, are you ready to kick off your special show?
Yes.
We're ready.
We're ready. Yeah.
Okay, so take it away, Kay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Kai, so very much for allowing me to be of service to you today and to all the other lovely people on the call. And we are thrilled to have you here. I really appreciate that you're continuing your series, your What About Story Saturdays. This is the 15th segment, and it's super exciting. You're gonna love today's format, everyone. We have three members of the Lion at Heart Freedom Journey group, and we also have three stellar women on our panel today, and it's my honor to introduce them. So thank you everyone for being here today. I'd like to first introduce to you a top global entrepreneur and business coach, Vandy Flake from Snowflake, Arizona. Also, give us a wave. Also, we have marketing executive Susie Caraway from Austin, Texas, and Christiane DeMoro, who's an entrepreneur from Framingham, Massachusetts. Welcome, everyone. We're going to be talking about Chapter 3 today. Chapter 3 discusses mission and vision and creating a roadmap for success. Since you've all read the book, Lion at Heart, my question to start off for all of you is, what touched you most about this chapter and why? So Vandy, let's get started with you.
Thanks. I absolutely love this chapter. I've got it all marked up of some of my favorite notes. But what really, really touched me a lot when I first read through it was when Kai first started into sales and didn't know what she was doing. She went and found successful salespeople and started asking them for advice. And I think that's such a key to going where you want to go, is going and asking other people for advice and then doing what the successful people are doing. And the other thing I just loved, because I have developed this too as an entrepreneur, is when she found her friend, and I hope I pronounce it right, Kas Lamas, who they had a healthy competition and a eternal friendship. And to me, that is just the definition of successful women, is when we lift each other up and we combine, whether or not we're in the same field or working together, where we find and we can be competitive, but we can also develop a friendship and a respect. And it's just, it makes the best of women. And as an entrepreneur, it's just one of the things I absolutely loved about this chapter.
That is incredible, Vandy. Thank you. Kai does talk in her chapters about following people with dreams and following them, and it's a great additional part to her book. Thank you, Vandy. So, Susie, what did you find most interesting about chapter 3 and why?
Well, there were a lot of things that were really interesting about the chapter, but what stuck out to me was when there's no pain, there's no glory, on page 41. And during COVID, and actually these past 4 years, I've actually had a very, very, probably the hardest, well, it actually has been the hardest time of my life during this time. And I'm not just talking about COVID, and I'll go into that in a second. But what I learned is that with faith, you can get through anything. It may be very difficult, but you know, it's good to know that God is with us and that he can support us. And that if we listen, a lot of times we talk to God and ask and all of that, but you know, that still small voice that comes to you, if you really listen, and whenever you've been beaten up, just beaten to death, and you're like, I cannot take any more, that's when God came to me. And so basically I tell myself every day, what am I going to do today that is painful, that will move me and my fiance ahead? And it may be something for others. Like, for example, during COVID, I started an Instagram page, and I just thought, you know, there's a lot of people that don't know how to cook, or they don't cook very well. And I had started cooking a while back and, you know, got a little bit better at it. And so I thought, you know, what better way to support people who don't know how to cook, or even if it's just entertainment for other people who do cook, you know, start an Instagram page. So I started that, Susie's Cooking with Love. And I basically started it from my fiance's mom, who's Hispanic. She's in a nursing home right now. And so we can't see her, but she's like, Susie, you always cook with a lot of love. And so I thought, you know what, that's how I'm going to start it out, you know, in dedication to her. So, you know, it's just some way of giving back. And I felt like for myself, maybe I couldn't do something for myself, but I thought, you know, it's easier to help somebody else sometimes than it is to help yourself when you're in situations. So I'm just going to give you briefly some things that I've gone through in the past 4 years. So it will put perspective. I've gone through divorce. I've gone through 2 job changes, and I'm talking major job changes, like something that I've never done before. I've had breast cancer. I had a move that took 8 days and 4 people to move. My son had open heart surgery. My niece had major cancer. She's 17 years old, and she got a wish from Make-A-Wish Foundation. She's made it through that. My sister is right now going through a divorce, and my son moved away, and so I don't see my son or my grandchildren. So I'm talking from a point of having gone through some stuff. So that's what I wanted to share.
Well, thank you so much, Susie. Intentionally embracing pain is not something you hear every day. And I really admire you for doing that and turning it around to something so very, very loving and positive that share with people. Thank you. Thank you very much. Christiane, you're up. What inspired you about chapter 3? Hi.
Oh my goodness, my book is just covered with markers. I'm going to do what Kai taught me. I take notes, and so I'm going to reference some of my points briefly. Vandy and Susie, you mentioned 2 things that were already in my heart about how, you know, the good competition, we lift each other up, and how we've all been through some rough things, you know, but we keep on going. And one of the points I love, Kai, and what I know about you, when I first met you on a phone call, I never even saw you, knew nothing about you, but I said, I need to know this woman. There is something about her. And I think that you mentioned in the book that you're a sensitive person, but you're strong when you need to be. There's a goodness in you. When you mentioned, it broke my heart on page 32, when you overheard some family members saying, oh, we need to put them out of the house. We need to throw their belongings out. And you say that these painful words never left me and became embedded in my brain. And I told myself, it doesn't have to be this way. I took the words literally and seriously. My heart was crushed. You are a young girl of 25. And the way you lived your life to not repay evil with evil. You said to have a strong business, but have a good business, have a good heart. And that is something that just resonates with me so strongly. And I want to emulate that too. I want people, when they think about me or think about anything I'm doing in my life, whether it's personal or business, that I'm a good person and that I care. So that was extremely important to me. So thank you.
Thank you, Christiane, for that insight. I hear the words perseverance and resiliency Kai Hayes has, and I hope that I can emulate that. Thank you very much. So now I'd like to turn things over to our next Lion at Heart Journey presenter, Paulette Snipke. She's in Ottawa, Ohio. Paulette is a former school guidance counselor, and she's joined this movement to help others with their vision and path. So Paulette, take it away.
Well, thank you, Kara. Ladies, the mission and vision is Kai's chapter 3, and a mission represents your objectives, and your objectives are what you do in order to achieve the vision. So your vision is ultimately your goal, and what you want to accomplish is the mission is how. So your vision is why. The mission is how, the vision is why. So I'm going to start with Susie this time. And Susie, so why is it important to create a roadmap to make a success?
Well, so basically, I wrote this down before. I'd say creating a roadmap for success is important because then you can focus on the activities to achieving the ultimate goal or the vision. So then all you need to do is determine the time to achieve the goal and the objectives to getting there and the tools or the people that you need along your side, just like Kai, to achieve that.
Great. So you're making a plan.
Right.
To do that. So awesome. So next we're going to ask Vandy the same question. So Vandy, so why is it important to create a roadmap to your success?
Well, I think sometimes we make these big, huge goals, you know, and whether it's graduating from college, writing a book, becoming an entrepreneur, and it's hard to see that goal. And so when we can break it down into little tiny steps, then we know what to do next. And we can do those daily actions. Little tiny daily actions compounded over time make a huge difference. I think so many people think that you sit down and you write a book. They don't realize that it's a months and years of effort. And then it's also going and finding those leaders and learning how to do it. So not only is it taking the activity every day, but following in the footsteps of those who have been successful. So having a roadmap of where you want to go and then breaking it into daily activity, I think is a key to find success no matter what you're doing in your life.
A great answer. So you're saying that sometimes we have too big of a plan and we're not really breaking it down. So following someone like Kai, who is an excellent leader, is helping us to take our daily action, putting it into plan. Okay, so Christiane.
Paulette, that is a great question. Great question. The first thing that came to me when you said that was something I had heard. Intelligence is touching fire and then taking your hand out because it hurts. Wisdom is learning from those who have already put their hand in the fire and gotten burned, so you don't need to get burned. The other point that I have learned from Kai and from in her book was to learn to receive the benefit 1% of 100 people rather than 100% of one person being myself. I need a roadmap because I will get lost often. I have a lot of feelings, and when things happen, I react. Now I've learned to respond. And so by learning from Kai, who has been very successful in her personal life, in her life of faith, and in her business life, I am so happy to follow her on her road, her blueprint, because I don't want to waste a day of my life. There are a lot of people wounded out there, a lot of people hurting, and I want to make the most of the time that I have so that I can help as many as possible, like Kai is doing. So that is why I agree, a blueprint is very important.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Yes, I think I agree with you that Kai's a great leader, and she has just made a great example for how we can follow her and break things down and not put our hand in the fire twice. That's great. So our next co-host is Gigi Donahue. Gigi is from Lakeland, Florida, and she's been an RN and in leadership role for more than 30 years. She's a part of this movement to inspire and motivate others to success. So it's yours, Gigi.
We can't hear
Gigi, you have to unmute yourself. Sorry.
Again, thank you, Paulette. I am so sorry. I am muted myself. Thank you for that introduction. And I just want to say I'm very honored to be a part of this session and be a part of this wonderful ladies here in this segment. We are talking about, again, chapter 3, on mission and vision. Kai talked about how she discovered 3 aspects of bravery. So I have a question for each of you separately. So on bravery, bravery is born of cultivated values, character, discipline, and determination. It responds to one's inner voice, not necessarily outside opinions. The road to success can be rocky and long, as we all know. It's accompanied by voices of nay and naysayers. How do you deal with the naysayers and reach your destination to success? Bandy, this question is for you, and I can repeat that if you need to.
No, growing up, I would have described myself, I think, as a people pleaser. I liked, to get good grades in school and do the things that were expected of me. I didn't like to cause contention or cause waves. And when I stepped outside of that mold and did something unexpected and became an entrepreneur, and then when I left my secure job so I could build my business more full time, I got a lot of pushback from people. And I realized that those people were not paying my bills. They could have an opinion all they wanted, but I had to do what was best for me. I had to do what was best for my family. And I had to follow my dream and my vision to get where I wanted to go. And I knew the steps I needed to take. And as many as I found naysayers, I have added to my tribe of supporters. And as an entrepreneur and women, I love this movement of Lion at Heart because we, as women, can lift each other up. And we can be that positive voice when people are chasing their dreams, because there's always somebody that's going to tell you no, that it's too hard, that it's too big. But never let somebody's small vision limit your belief or who you are. From the time I was 16, I had a vision that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to work from home so I could balance my time as a mother and as a career in the way I wanted to balance it. I didn't want somebody else controlling that. For a while, I gave up on that dream because I listened to the negativity. Mm-hmm. And so I had to reach deep inside and find that lion inside of my heart so I could step out and be an entrepreneur and chase that dream that I had had for so long. Even though I tried to bury it for a while, it was still inside. And I just love this book about becoming who you are and letting that lion out and letting your heart shine and supporting other people, especially other women. It's just, this message has resonated with me so much from the first time Kai and I talked about her book, and then when I actually got my hands on it to read it, I've marked it all up because I just love it. So go be brave. Don't worry about what anybody else says. Chase your dreams like a lion.
That is wonderful. And I definitely agree with you, Vandy. Such a great attitude towards success. My next question will be for you, Susie. Kai said on bravery, she had to make constant and drastic changes in her personal life. Do you have the personal courage to make changes to your personal life that may greatly enhance your future?
Well, yeah, I would definitely say yes. And it was some of the items that I mentioned earlier. Just, you know, sometimes you're in a marriage and you realize, you know, this is not the direction that I need to be going. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but you know, in your heart where, you know, if you're working harder than the other person, or, you know, you can't hold a marriage together with one person. And I was married almost 20 years. And then I thought I'd actually gone to a Tony Robbins event, and y'all had mentioned something about fire. Well, I actually did a fire walk. And you know how some people think, oh, it's probably not that hot. My son actually was with me, and he was like, you know, it's not that hot. They're just making you feel like you've done something. And I'm telling you, it was hot. It was very, very hot. But, you know, like Oprah went on that fire walk. So I told him, please do not go before me. Let me go after, or let me go first, because if I see you in pain, I am not going to want to do this. So I did it, and actually I saw a woman to the right, like she was like jumping off of it real fast, and it kind of scared me, but I did it anyway. You know, face the fear and do it anyway. Well, that's what I did. But that's a good analogy for life, that sometimes what I learned from that is that you might be going through something that's very, very painful, and you don't know how you're going to get out on the other end. But it only hurt, you know, they say, and I think there's a song, it only hurts for a little while.
Right.
But it gets you to a better place where you need to be. And it may get harder before it gets easier. But that's what I learned. So.
Again, another wonderful answer, and I can see why you are successful as well. Just that attitude. And for us, that you mentioned about your kid, then, and we can all relate to that, but our mothers here, very much. Now, my last question is for Christiane. All right. Do you think you are brave enough to discover what brings you personal happiness or joy?
Oh, wow, Gigi. By the way, I love you. You're an amazing woman. And thank you for that question. That hits right to the heart of the matter. Let me see. While you were saying that, what came to me is the fact that what Kai said in her book, if God is for you, who can be against you? I love the two sides of the coin that Kai brings out in her book about herself, that she is become so humble, yet she is powerful. That was very hard for me to understand. I was someone who thought, I'm going to make everybody happy, and I'm going to be like water. Whatever you want me to be, just put whatever shape you want, and I will fill that up, and you will be happy, and you will like me, and life will be good. Unfortunately, it doesn't turn out that way. And what I have learned is not to be so concerned about the results of what other people's response, but to be able to be courageous and be like a lioness, where you are fierce to go out and capture what you need to feed, who you need to feed, yourself and others, but yet be tender to train and teach. So I've had to learn to say no to good things so that I could say yes to great things. So now in my life, my desire, it's going to sound like just a phrase, but I want to be a candle in the darkness. I want to be a light, and I want to help other people, because the darker it gets, what happens when you have one candle? The brighter it looks. So this is something that I want for my life. There's a scripture that talks about being hard pressed on every side, but not crushed. Being so perplexed, but not in permanent despair. To be persecuted, we all know what that is like, but not being abandoned or alone. To be struck down, but not destroyed. My goal, my vision is to not lose heart, to bring hope to the hopeless. I so resonate with Kai's book, to be a voice for the voiceless. I want someone, after they've met me, and someone says, "Who is that?" I don't want them to say, "Oh, that's Christiane. She did this and she does that." I want them to look at them and say, like I felt when I met Kai, is, you need to know that woman. There's something inside that woman that you need to experience. And that's something when people see me, I don't want them necessarily to see Christiane tomorrow. I want them to see a lioness. I want them to see a warrior. I want them to see a woman of faith. I want them to see Kai Hayes. That is who I want to emulate. So Kai, I'm so grateful for your book. You are so transforming my life. I've read the book, but now I'm on my third time through and changing all my colors because I see different points every time I read it. So that is what I wish, for my life. Not just wish, but that's what I'm setting my blueprint, and that's what I'm going for and getting a lot of advice about it. So thank you for asking me that, Gigi.
Thank you very much, Christiane. As you said, we have to look at how Kai defeated everything, ignored everything that was negative to push forward for happiness, courage to be successful. Really very good insight. Thank you so much. Again, thank you all very much for being here with us tonight. And now we go back to our dear author, Kai Hayes. Kai?
Thank you, Gigi, and thank you, Paulette and Kay. You guys did a wonderful job co-hosting with me. I'm loving this. But to all our amazing special guests, Vandy Flake, Susie Caraway, and Christiane DeMoro, what an incredible pleasure joining us tonight and inspiring our viewers here at Lion at Heart Freedom Journey Show. I can't help but, I'm just drying my tears right now, because not only that you added so much value and educating our viewers with all your knowledge in business, in whatever personal life, and including spiritual growth, but you shared your heart today. You brought out the lion in you, the lion amongst you, and that is what this segment is all about. It's about touching people's lives. It's about helping people to have a voice and truly gathering the children of light to make this, help the world to make a better place. So it's all about love and peace that we are instilling in this particular show on our segment. So massive roar to all our members of our Lionesses Circle. Without this amazing, beautiful lionesses, we would not have brought you a sizzling and fun show tonight. Fun or tears, but good tears anyway. And to all our Lion at Hearts readers, viewers, thank you for tuning in and joining with us in our crusade today. Be the voice for the voiceless. Until the next. And on September 12th, you guys, we are being joined by our new friends, the Table Talkers from New Zealand. Thank you very much. I have that too, G. I have that too. So thank you very much. I'm really so honored that you have honored my request here in joining us for our Lion at Heart movement. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and ciao. Thank you very much. Until the next episode, and I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Love you too.
We love you too.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
I
much,
love you
everyone.
so much.
Bye.